Hello, and well, if you're basing your evening around the Phillies game, a pretty boring, bad evening. But overall, in general, happy Friday night to everybody out there. Renee, not the most fun game I've ever seen in my life by any means. It was just kind of one of those games where nothing was going your way. You had opportunities, some good, some bad. We'll talk about it all, but that sucked.
Yeah, I mean, it's not over yet, technically. But it's been a really boring game, and it's wild because this is like the hangover from the last two series in general, especially sweeping the Dodgers. I had a feeling once the weather was so crappy, and it's been like a very black kind of a day. The energy seems low in this sold out crowd at Citizens Bank Park, and here we are just dragging along against the A's. But I don't read stock in like who they're playing. I think it's more of just it just makes sense to me of where they are in the schedule and all the excitement of the last series to this game.
Yeah, it's kind of like the most Phillies thing ever to sweep one of the best teams in baseball, be on a high. You have Ranger Suarez versus the A's. You're kind of like, all right, this is a get right game, right? This is the slump buster.
That's what I wrote down.
Yeah, and he just, kind of at the end of it, as the A's fly out to Casty, it came down to two bad innings, four good ones. But the Phillies offense couldn't take advantage of early free bases from the walks from the opening pitcher there, and just kind of a crappy evening. But we're coming off the high of the Dodgers sweep that I'm like, yeah, whatever. They're like, this kind of makes sense. And you just kind of laugh it off.
Yeah, and also, and as we see in the channel, Philly Shardy is mentioning about the releasing of Whit. I know you did our emergency pod earlier. Today's
Yeah.
been quite a day in general for the Phillies. It's been like it's like a housekeeping day. I feel like you get rid of Whit, you call up Weston Wilson. They're making some little moves here and there, and you're coming off of beating the Dodgers. So as we talk about, it makes sense that this was kind of that hangover of all the chaos of the last few days.
Yeah, and it has been kind of a whirlwind. We can talk about Whit here for a little bit before the game starts and maybe touch on it again. Yes, I did an emergency pod kind of as soon as it broke. Me and you got to talk over text message. We have not talked face-to-face yet. I, for one, I was fairly shocked by it just because if I thought if they were going to get rid of a roster spot right now, maybe Christian Pache makes more sense, but like it's justified, right? Like he just was not making hard contact this year. I think it's only 2 balls he had all year over 100 miles an hour. He just really was bringing you nothing. And to the people that are going to go, well, what about Christian Pache? He's sitting the same, well, one, he gives you better defense. Two, his roster spot is far from secured for the remainder of the year, Renee. He could be gone at the trade deadline. He could be gone. He could be DFA'd at any point. Like, you don't know. This was kind of a signal out that, like we're going to do what it takes to win a World Series here. Get off the tracks if we're coming through.
I actually, when I saw the news, the first person I thought of was Christian Pache because I felt like this puts a little bit of pressure on him. And even like you see the great play that Johan Rojas made last night. The pressure is on. This is a team, as they talk about, a win now team. If you're not able to keep up your end and contribute in some way and find a way to make plays, your job is not secure. I mean, that's sports in general, but even more this year because you have to fine tune things. You bring in Whit for $8 million as a utility piece, and he hasn't been able to give you much of anything. The numbers have been bad. So it actually made sense to me that it happened. I know we had talked about it on the show a week ago, if they were going to DFA him and what was going to happen. You just
I didn't think they were.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard because he's 35 years old. You paid $8 million. You just swallow the money and move on. Because honestly, when you have other pieces that you can try out, a Weston Wilson or whoever else you may look to bring in, why not? You know what he's giving you. You know what he's not giving you. And so I thought the timing made sense right before the All-Star break. You move on from Whit. Sorry that it didn't work out. I liked Whit. I was ready to give him a nickname. But when you come in and you in 53 games and 20 starts, you have 11 RBIs, 15 walks, 21 runs scored across 174 plate appearances, but your numbers in terms of batting are 199, 277, and 295. It's not good enough, especially with how well this team's been playing. They got to figure out how to tie up those loose ends, and he was one of them. So Christian Pache to come out, get an RBI today, maybe helps a little bit. Like, you need to, if you're Pache, anybody else, you got to continue to find ways to add something, because that bottom of the lineup, that's an area the Phillies can absolutely look to fine tune to be able to have player that can give you something, I should say.
Yeah, if I had to wager right now, I would say Christian Pache is not on this team in 18 days. The trade deadline is coming.
Why 18?
Well, that's the trade deadline.
Duh.
Yeah, so I think I think something's coming. I said this earlier on the podcast as well. I'm out on Brent Rooker, who's here with the Oakland Athletics. We can talk about him a little bit later once this game goes official. I just don't see the natural fit. 3 more years of club control, can't play defense. We don't need another DH. But, look, when Whit signed here originally, we both thought, like, all right, this is great. You're kind of going all in on this super utility guy, a vet who should be able to step up in the playoffs and give you a good right-handed bat off the bench. The reality was, what did you say? How many at-bats? 123? 174. In 174 chances, he showed you his bat's kind of dead. Like, the speed is gone. There's no pop on it. Was he going to become a playoff pinch hitter for you? No. So I guess they just viewed it as, all right, well, let's give Weston Wilson. He just had an incredible month of June in Lehigh, an opportunity here. He gets 18 days to kind of show his stuff. He's a super utility type of guy too. And if Weston Wilson doesn't show you something, maybe it affects how you view the trade deadline. So I think the timing of it was very manufactured, not random.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. The trade deadline is quickly approaching, and then you look at 29-year-old Wilson, who we got to see tonight, steal a base, scored a run. You talk about that June timeline. Well, since June 15th, when he was optioned to the Iron Pigs, slashing at 315, 446, 740 with 10 home runs, 20 RBIs, and a 1.186 OPS in 20 games. 93 plate appearances for him. Was the International League Player of the Week, July 1st, and has been great, has been giving good at bats. And so when the Phillies brought him in last January of 2023, to see how he's coming from the Brewers and how he's been able to be pretty steady. He's young. I actually think for Whit, one of the biggest things that worked against him is he's 35. Like, there's nothing you can change at this point in his career. He is what he is, and he's declining. He's not stealing bases at the same rate. His speed is not the same. You see him out in the outfield or in general fielding. He's not getting to some balls that he should have because he was just older and he just didn't have that burst anymore. So I'm all for, as we talk about the trade deadline coming up, move on. We know we're not getting anything for him, and he's not going to be able to be that playoff piece that you were hoping for. Try someone else out, and Christian Pache, get with it or get lost, because at this point, it's time is ticking on him too. And literally, that's the first thing I wrote down was like, what about Christian Pache? What is this?
Yeah, I think that's the natural, like, wait,
yes.
You're going to ditch the veteran that at least has some playoff experience for Christian Pache? Well, we'll see about that. His final destination is not yet written. You talk about the trade deadline, Renee, and there's a guy on the mound right now for the Oakland Athletics that, look, it's not reality, but it's always nice every once in a while to dream. And Mason Miller is on the mound right now, just throwing gas. He leads all relievers in Major League Baseball with a 15.89 Ks per 9. This kid is absolutely filthy. He's most likely going to get moved in 18 days, and he is going to go for a haul. Would I consider it? Would I call the Athletics? I guarantee you Dave Dombrowski has had conversations with them. The asking price is probably outrageous, but this kid's arm is live, as they say. Damn, he's impressive looking.
This is a pretty good tryout for Mason Miller. I approve.
Yeah, if you just want to kidnap him and keep him here and give the A's nothing, I'm cool with that too.
25-year-old Mason Miller. He's got good size too, actually. It looks like he's got like a
Weston Wilson gets a hit. There you go, Wes.
See, Weston Wilson. Okay, Mason Miller. I approve so far. I know Philly in the chat is saying like Mason Miller is cooking us. Yeah, this is a good debut for him, or a good tryout for him, I should say. Hopefully it will lead to a debut for him. The Phillies could be looking to add in another arm, and if you have this ability, his pants are a little tight, a little snug, but that's okay.
Yeah, he's 25, joggers and tight pants are in.
That's true. So. That's that age. Those kids.
No socks, no stirrups showing at all. Yeah, I see what you're looking at there.
No,
He's got the new boy look, the new age fashion.
Yeah, that's like what the kids are rocking these days, the tight pants.
Oh, you don't have to tell me, Renee. I have rather large calves, so like anytime I order something from one of these new companies, oh my god, they're like spray painted on my legs. It's ridiculous. God forbid you don't have tight pants these days. You look out, you look like you're from the 90s all of a sudden.
I know, which is back in. It was all the different styles have come back in. I will say though, for Mason Miller, I know we talked about listen, the numbers that he's had so far this season, as you mentioned, it's been really good. He's got a 2.33 ERA on the season. In his 32 games, he's been solid. He's still young, 6'5". I knew I was gonna say 6'4".
Yeah, he's big looking.
He's big. He's solid. I don't, and I like what he's throwing. Yeah. Mason Miller, you are a Philly.
Yeah, if Dave Dombrowski and Sam Fold just want to kidnap him, I'm totally cool with that. But we'll see where he goes. He's going to get moved for a lot. Brent Rooker, obviously in town with the A's as well. He's a name that's been tied to the Phillies. Apparently, they've been scouting him some lately. Apparently the Atlanta Braves are all over him too. So one of the contenders is probably likely to get Brent Rooker, but again, he profiles better as a DH. If you have to put him in left field, it's like watching Rhys Hoskins or Kyle Schwarber out there again. And you saw the impact Johan Rojas had defensively last night on a game when he traveled like 120 feet in 2 seconds. I don't know if you can go from Rojas and Marsh to a platoon of Rojas and Marsh and a Butcher in left field. Having two corner outfielders that stink defensively doesn't really sound appealing to me. So I'm officially putting my stamp down. I'm out on Brent Rooker.
Wow.
Yeah, I have no interest.
Honestly, that's a regression. The Phillies don't need to go back to having
we have too many DHs. We don't need more.
Yeah. And they don't need somebody that's going to be a slow outfielder. At least Kyle's actually getting faster. We're not going to go backwards. We're finally happy that the 1 or 2 games you put Kyle in left field, he's okay. But you don't need another guy that's a DH that has no speed. Oh wow, that has.
This is good. Make Mason Miller like worst case here. Throw some pitches. He's already at 16. If you can get him up to like 30, you might not see him again this weekend with the All-Star break on the horizon. So I hope Marsh makes some work here a little bit.
Yeah. It is interesting as we're talking about the trade deadline. I know it was mentioned earlier. Seth was saying, I guess Stubby is the exception to the rule. We've already established a CBO in Garrett Stubbs is not someone that will be moved, guys. It's not going to happen. No. Now, something that John and I actually spoke about on our show Thursday was, in reality, it actually makes sense to keep Garrett Stubbs and to move Rafael Marchand, because when JT Realmuto comes back after missing several weeks, he should be able to play, knock on wood, the remainder of the season. Why keep Marchand up playing 1 or 2 games here or there when instead he can go back down to AAA, get some good innings, have a full healthy season, and see if you're able to build off of that. Garrett is not going to play. You don't even need him really. So there's no reason. You don't need hopefully, you don't need your backup catcher. So I feel like keep Garrett Stubbs, let him be the DJ in the clubhouse, let him be the vibes guy. Let Marchand go have a full healthy season, continue those good at bats, continue this home run, everything he's been doing.
Stubbs is here
for next year.
Yeah, Marsh is giving you a really good at bat here. Full count now with 2 outs, man on. But this is good. He's already at 20 pitches. Got him. All right, Mason Miller strikes out Brandon Marsh to end the game. At least you got him up to 21 pitches. Didn't make it easy on him. But the Phillies go down 6-2 to the Oakland Athletics. This is now officially the PHLY Phillies post-game show. Jamie Lynch, Renee Washington, if you're just hopping in with us. That stunk, but Renee, we didn't get to talk since they swept the Dodgers. I was still kind of on that Dodgers sweep high. That this one barely phases me. I mean, we're going into the All-Star break, probably a 62 win team, right? At minimum, maybe even 63. Yeah. So life is good. This one doesn't hurt me because we just took 3 from the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they got to be human at some point. They're not going to win. I always say this every time the Phillies lose. I find myself saying this, and I sound like a broken record. The Phillies are not going to win every game, even if they go sweep the Dodgers. That doesn't mean they're going to sweep the rest of the season. And so to be 6.5 games ahead of the Dodgers coming into today, 8.5 ahead of the Braves for the NL East, they're sitting pretty. They put in the work. It's mid-July, basically. I'm gonna round up. It's mid-July.
It is.
To have themselves in a position where they're going into this final weekend before the All-Star break. And this series, every series matters, don't get me wrong, but there's no pressure. I know we'll talk about Zach Wheeler and injuries and different things. There's no pressure to rush guys back. There's no pressure when they lose. There's no pressure when they have struggles. There's no pressure for a performance like we saw from Ranger. You can't over analyze it because they played so well, and at some point they have to be human. Fatigue, just a down game. And I know there are some concerns, especially I know as Eugene Krabs is mentioning around Ranger, for example, but in reality, the team has set themselves up nicely that when you have these dips, it's okay. You just beat the Dodgers. You swept the Dodgers in a series that was a very exciting, high scoring especially the game 1. Great pitching. Like you look at that series, I think like Brandon Marsh and the guys are saying, they just have really gotten up so much. The Braves, the Dodgers, they got up so much for them that at some point shit was gonna hit the fan. That was the night.
Yeah. This is a classic Phillies loss. It just is.
Would it be better? I mean, if it was tomorrow's game versus today's, like at some point.
No, I fully expect them to take both games this weekend. I mean, I think the Tyler Phillips vibes are immaculate tomorrow. We'll get into that. Sunday is going to be interesting. We'll get into all that and more. But sometimes, Renee, after a Phillies loss to a team you expect to beat, you know what tastes a little bit better? Just a little bit better.
What's that?
It's a Miller Lite. I can see my beer fridge about 8 feet to my right, and there's some cold Miller Lite in there. But I'm leaving for vacation bright and early. Well, actually, in the middle of the night tomorrow. So I'm not going to have one tonight. But I got Miller Lites on ice ready in my car for vacation. Because when you're around friends and family and, you're having a good time, you're having laughs, you're making memories, a cold Miller Lite really hits the spot. It's the original light beer since 1975. And to this day, it's still the best one. Why? Because it tastes exactly like a light beer should taste. They got rid of everything that doesn't matter and holds on to what matters most. It is less filling and has great taste. It's both, like the commercial says. When you're sitting out on the beach and you don't want to feel bloated or by the pool, whatever it may be, Miller Lite always hits the spot. They keep it simple. Undebatable quality, great taste, and only 96 calories. The original light beer since 1975. And you don't have to choose what's best. Miller Lite has great taste and is less filling. Tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/PHLY or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
Well, I know Barbara Carroll's mentioning in the chat how Mason Miller is impressive. You know who else is impressive? That's our friends over at Shady Rays. Impressive to get you prepared for the season up ahead. Shady Rays provides you with the premium polarized shades that are fantastic. They're sleek. They've got different styles and colors for every look, every fit, everybody, depending on what you're looking to do. If you want to go out to the ballpark to watch a game, if you're looking to go catch some rays at the beach, do people still say that? If you're looking to go hiking, whatever it is, I don't know. Whatever it is you're looking to do.
Some Rays, bro. Yeah, bro. Let's go catch some Rays.
Shady Rays, man.
Let's hang 10, bro, and catch some Rays.
Shady Rays. There are hundreds of options to choose from. You are bound to find a great pair that fits your style, your swag. And they've also been rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. So that means if you don't believe me and Jamie, believe 300,000 people that said they are fantastic and gave them a 5-star rating. I love Shady Rays. I always make the comment about them not getting stuck in your hair. But I love Shady Rays because they're easy to wear, they're lightweight, and they just feel great on your face. There are some sunglasses, they leave a little nose mark. They sometimes hurt your ears a little bit. That's not Shady Rays. So exclusively for our listeners today, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. You can head to shadyrays.com and use code PHLY. Get 35% off your polarized sunglasses and try them for yourself. The shades that are rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
All right, so if you're just joining us, we're recapping a little bit the loss to the Athletics. We're talking a little bit about Whit Merrifield, but I think the main storyline wrapping up this game, Renee, and the thing I think people will be quasi-worried about, I don't want to say it's panic yet because to me it's just a little bit of dead arm, and that's Ranger Suarez. In his first 16 starts on the season, we got like mega spoiled. His ERA was 1.83. Now, when you see something like that happening, there's a reality that's going to happen at some point. Rarely do we go sub-2 pitchers in Major League Baseball. So you knew he was going to come back to earth at some point. Now, in his last 3 starts, his ERA is an 8.62. Tonight, his pitches were lower than his typical velocities. So I think that is telling you like this break is coming at a good time. I would say my worry scale on Ranger on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being full-blown panic in the streets, I would say is 3, 5, or 4. I fully expect him to get some rest. We'll get into, the innings pitched and all the things that go with a dead arm. But I'm very unworried as of now. I know some other people are turning up the worry meter pretty quickly here. Where do you fall on this?
I'm not worried. Listen, as you talk about just the numbers, Ranger Suarez has already pitched 108 innings, and he had 125 total last season. Granted, injuries and things. He's got a 2.58 ERA still on the season with 106 Ks. So despite that major dip, and he's had a dip ever since the London series. He's been winless since the London series. He's
weird.
Definitely struggled, but it makes sense, though. The timing of it, the wear and tear, and the gas he's been throwing, the velocity, the command, it's all off. His changeup, everything has dipped in terms of how he's been pitching. And so when you look at Ranger came into this season, and we've talked about it before, with the goal of pitching over 200 innings. He's over halfway there. It is mid-July. And with that, though, comes the dips of being in uncharted territory. You look at his past seasons, and I just left the page I had up with all of his innings pitched, but he's pitching more innings right now than he's pitched in a while. Again, you have 108 innings pitched so far as of July. He has not pitched more than 155 innings in an entire season in his career, and he's already going to pass that pretty soon. So for Ranger to be at an all-star level that he's at, the numbers that we've been seeing from him, at some point he was gonna become human. Also, on the reverse side of that, how many games do you guys expect opponents we're gonna continue to get shut out by Ranger, have 7, 8, 9 Ks against Ranger, gets caught swinging at the plate over and over again? At some point, teams are gonna start to figure him out. You're gonna get through now. Also, the second time you're seeing teams, or just in general, teams have plenty of film on Ranger, it's going to naturally be a regression. So if he can battle through, and I like the fact that today it was just 2 innings that he really struggled.
Yeah, it was only 2
entire time. 2 innings with 2 outs. The A's were great tonight. Got to give them credit where credit is due. And on the other side of it, I hate to say this, but that call that should have been a strike that everybody was surprised about, the play that we saw by Daz Cameron, that was not called a strike. After that, immediately, it was 3 straight RBI singles. I mean, you shouldn't need help, but that's also something that Ranger in that moment should have been rewarded with the strike that he threw. And so
Cameron looks so much like his dad. It's a bug out. I thought when I saw him, I was like, is Mike Cameron still playing baseball? I was like, is he? I was like, maybe. I don't know. You know, some guys play till they're 50. But yeah, Ranger. So I have his pitch chart up in front of me. Through 97 pitches on the evening, every single one of his pitches was at least 0.5 miles per hour off his year average. His sinker was a mile per hour off his average. His curveball was nearly a mile off per its average. His four-seam fastball was half a mile per hour less than his year average. His changeup was nearly 2 miles an hour in a dip from his yearly average, and his cutter was 0.4 off. But it was the 2 innings like you talked about. I actually want to give Rob Thompson a good bit of credit there for bringing him out in the 6th. Now there's 2 reasons. One, you're going to have a big bullpen workload this weekend with Tyler Phillips going on Saturday and likely some kind of bullpen situation / Michael Mercado / whatever the hell they throw out there. So it was a chance to two-part. One, if you had confidence that Ranger was going to go out there and perform in the 6th inning, it's a way for him to head into break feeling like, okay, that was positive. You know, like I had those 2 bad innings, but I finished strong. And then 2, it's a good way to protect the bullpen another inning for a long weekend ahead.
Yeah, and I think it was important for him to leave the mound feeling good. You know, you're going into the All-Star break, which should be a great opportunity. Of course,
it's going to be at least 10 days before he throws. So
yeah, and it would have been even better had he gotten the start at the All-Star game instead. Paul Skenes made some.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
We'll get there. Making history for the first.
Let me write it down. So let us not forget, Renee.
Right, I already have it written down also. But for Ranger to, as you mentioned, the dip in his ERA and the terrible last few games he's had. Well, his first 15 starts of the season, those 18 earned runs and 92 1/3 innings pitched. The last 4 starts coming into today, 17 earned runs in 21 2/3 inning pitched. He's had 3 walks. He had 3 walks tonight alone early on and had 4 walks in the previous 4 appearances altogether. I mean, you do see the regression, and I understand why everybody in the chat and everybody watching on Twitter, YouTube is nervous. As Lisa's mentioning, everyone has their ups and downs, and I completely feel like we're just in a down right now. His sinker, his command, his velocity, everything is gonna come back. It just needs time for him to be able to really reset. And to be honest, 9 pitches thrown in the first inning, 6 pitches thrown in the second inning, 32 in the third inning, 7 in the fourth inning. Like, you look at that third inning, which was just a drag, and I was like, come on, Ranger, get out. Come on, Ranger, get out. It just dragged on and on. Ultimately, that makes sense. Why, as you have dead arm and mid-season hiccups, that they were able to get after him, you know, as the game progressed. So I'm not worried about Ranger. I think also he's a veteran, and I think that he also knows what his body needs, and right now might be a time that he needs to rest or change something up in his routine a little bit. So I do feel like he's going to be fine. And overall, let's keep in mind the bigger picture. He is already, I don't know the percentage because what is 108 plus percentage of whatever, but he's over half of where he was in the past compared. He's almost pitched as many innings in this season by mid-July. Here you go, Jamie. As he's pitched his entire season, the last of every year of his career.
Oh yeah. So John, our own John Foley put out the tweet. I don't know if you caught it or not.
No, not yet.
Yeah, so John put out the tweet. Innings pitched by Ranger, including minor leagues, rounded. So, 2012, 5, 2013, 17, 81 in 2014, 28 in 2015, 74 in 2016. I'm not trying to bore you to death with this. I'm just showing you what a slow ramp up to a lot of innings he's had. 2017, he got up to 123 innings. 2018, 139 innings. 2019 only had the 87. 2020 only had 4. And then he went 106 in 2021, 155 as a career high in 2022, 2023 last year, 134. And this year, it's only July 12th, and he's at 114. So that is, I mean, if he doesn't miss any time, he is going to blow away his career high. And this is in particular when you consider the date of things. He's already approaching his career high. So I just think it's dead arm. Yeah.
So that is okay. So here's a simplified way for me to say it because
Oh, were you doing math when I was talking there?
I was. But here's a simplified way. He has 114 now after tonight because I was doing 108 coming into tonight. So now 114, as John shared. He has only pitched more than 114 innings 4 complete seasons in his entire career. So all those years you just mentioned, yes, we'll go back to 2012, over a decade ago. In his entire career, there's only been 4 seasons that he's pitched more innings in the entire season than he has pitched up until mid-July of today. So in reality, he's in some uncharted territory.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's something you're not used to. It's like when players get to the playoffs for the first time. They don't know how to manage a longer season. He's struggling because he's in a position he hasn't been in yet. So he'll be fine.
And sometimes, Renee, when you find yourself in uncharted waters or a position you've never been in before, and you say you're in Wrigleyville drinking on a Tuesday night and you go, hey, I should just go to the game tonight. Well, that's exactly what happened to me last week when I was in Chicago and I pulled up the Game Time app. Bing, bam, boom. We were looking at our seat view, pricing out. Do we want to do bleachers? Do we want to do left field line? It was the easiest process in the world. Just 2-tap that thing with your Apple Pay. And smooth sailing. Tickets were sent right to my phone. Actually, my cousin's phone. He was the one doing the clicking. It was the easiest process in the world. We knew exactly where we were sitting. We knew exactly where we were going. It was great. It was awesome. The Game Time app came through for us on a night we didn't think we were going to the game, but we ended up going to the game, and we got the best price with the Game Time guarantee. So many great features on the app. Last-minute deals up to 60% off, whether it's sports, concerts, comedy, theater. Going to a concert this weekend. It wasn't in the Game Time zone because it's a no-name, nothing concert. But any other concert you're going to, make sure you're checking Game Time because they'll get you the best deal around. All-in pricing, seat views, low price guarantee, the Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the industry. So take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Just create an account. Use code PHLY, and we will help you get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, just create an account and redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
All right, let me also tell you about all the exciting things going on at PHLY because right now is a great chance to become a diehard member. We've got some great opportunities as a diehard to be able to get not only the best articles from our writers. Of course, stay up to date on all the events that we're having. You also get merch, a lot of perks that come with being a diehard, including being able to be a part of our Discord where we get to talk trash, talk fantasy baseball. My team's back in the win column 2 weeks in a row. Woo, woo. Be able to talk through everything and anything with our fellow Discord members and diehards. But also we have some great events. Today, we are less than 24 hours away from our golf outing. It's a rainy weekend, guys, but the outing is still on. Our scramble is still taking place. You guys, for those that have signed up, we appreciate you. It's going to be a great, fun day. And I know we were talking off air in our Slack channel as a company. Like, it's still going to be, we've got an exciting turnout. Still should be a great day. Plenty to look forward to. And also, even as we are 18 days away, and Jamie just reminded me earlier in the show, that means we've got the trade deadline show coming up. Our PHLY Phillies trade deadline show will be live in person. You guys can hang with us on July 30th. It's weird to even think that we're already talking about July 30th, but here we are. Great things to come. Events, merch, great articles. And I know also all of our beats are doing a phenomenal job of just covering every team right now with fantasy football or NBA Summer League or anything that's going on, the struggles of the union. Whatever it is, we're talking about the Flyers, the Fly Guys, everything that's going on. Plus, of course, our emergency pods, you always can get the latest on, such as our one we did earlier around Whit Merrifield. So check it all out at allphly.com. Become a diehard today. Check out our events and all the details there to be able to hang with us some more and have more fun.
Yeah, a couple comments in the chat. Barbara Carroll says, I hope Ranger goes the way of Wheeler and skips the All-Star game. I very much do not want to see him in the All-Star game. I would love for him to get an actual break here. Joe Jordan says, need a phantom IL stint for a reboot and a refresh. I think, this All-Star break is kind of that, because it's Friday night. He's not going to pitch. The Phillies aren't back for a full week, and we'll see how they stack the rotation coming out of it. Zach Wheeler might be itching to pitch after missing tomorrow and demand that first game. So you're looking at Ranger getting, and this is why I don't want him pitching in the All-Star game, even though he's so adorable and he really deserves the big stage, Renee.
He deserves to be a starter.
He does. Well, we'll talk about that. He's going to get probably 13, 14, almost 2 full weeks off. So no need for the IL stint, but I'm with you theoretically. Get this man a little bit of a breather here on his arm, but this is kind of coming at the perfect time.
Well, I also think regardless of what happens with the All-Star game, the excitement of being invited to your first, being in that atmosphere, that should be, and he might just need a boost. Like, I think that's
a little adrenaline.
Yeah, I think that's why when we even talk about Tyler Phillips start tomorrow, when you have such a long season, you need something to continue to jumpstart you and keep you excited and keep you locked in. And Ranger right now has been so locked in on the mound. He's been focused every game until he wasn't. He hit a wall, honestly. And so you might need something to kind of refresh, get you back to just going out there and enjoying what you're doing, loving the game. And the All-Star break in general could be that. You're going with your teammates. You got 7 guys from the Phillies that are going. You get a chance to go hang with some of not only your teammates, but, opponents in a fun, light environment. Like
this overall, Bomer in the home run derby.
Yeah, you get to go cheer on Alec Bohm and all the great things that come with
he gets $100,000 just for participating.
I know. Where do I sign up?
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to win it, but $100K for a home run derby, why not?
Just to be out there. Where do I sign? I can do that. But I think it's such a fun stretch for the league, and I imagine Ranger's really going to be his adorable self out there having a blast, whether he plays or not, and that might be able to kind of like revitalize him a little bit. It's just like we all need like that PTO. This is his PTO right now of like a couple days off, go hang out, have fun down in Arlington.
Yeah, just rest up, get that arm high, get some massages and all that. Quick shout out to Lisa, who says she's been using the Game Time app for almost a year now, and she recommends it to everyone. She loves it. That is awesome, Lisa. Thank you. And make sure you're telling them to use code PHLY, $20 off.
I always tell people, take advantage of the deals.
Yeah.
Save money.
All right, Renee, I see you're itching to talk about it. I will open and you can retort. I think Paul Skenes being the all-star starter is the absolute right decision and the best thing for the sport of baseball. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, it's
you're with me. Okay, I thought you were going to fight me.
It's the first time since 1995 that a rookie is going to be starting the All-Star game, a rookie pitcher. And for Paul Skenes, the way that he stepped into the majors and just taken the league by notice. I mean,
he might be the best pitcher.
His velocity, he's literally the best pitcher in baseball right now.
Insane.
And he's a rookie. Like, I'm scared and terrified for what the future brings with Paul Skenes. This man is winning on and off the field. Him and Livy Dunn are out here just like Paul and Livy for president.
Yeah, Viore, if you're out there listening, sponsor us too. We like your clothes. Why don't you come on board? It's not all. You don't have to spend it all on Livy Dunn, all right?
All of it. What about us?
Yeah, we like you guys too. Why don't you come on board here? No, but in all seriousness, I think it's great for the game. I mean, this kid is absolutely filthy. He earned it. Had a no-hitter going through 7 innings recently. His ERA, his numbers, his amount of pitches over 100 miles an hour. This kid's a freak, and I'm pretty excited to watch him pitch the All-Star game as the starter. So if I'm that way, I feel like a lot of other people are that way. So I think it's the right decision. Nobody else, Wheeler, but he's hurt. Chris Sale, but he's hurt, or he's pitching on Sunday. Ranger kind of fell apart. I don't want him doing it now anyway. Glasnow's hurt. Like, everybody's kind of hurt.
I was going to say, when you think about the other pitchers in general, even the ones that are healthy, none of them are flashy and jump off the page. Like, we love Ranger Suarez and Zach Wheeler because they're our guys. Yeah. But there's not a ton of the exciting pitching matchups that you have had in the past of the big names. So I think for Paul Skenes, he's must-see baseball right now. His numbers, as you mentioned, have been incredible, that he's literally been the best across Major League Baseball. And it does give a little bit of excitement to see what the youngster can do, in the All-Star game. So it's like the Caitlin Clark of WNBA, I would say, for Paul Skenes. He's got a little bit of that same aura that he brings to the league of reinvigorating with a very injured pitching all the way through the season. He's one of the bright spots for sure. So I like it.
Yeah, I think it's the right decision. It's gonna be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. Bohm in the home run derby, Skenes starting. It'll be a fun couple days. And I'll just let you know, Renee, my family vacation was not planned around the All-Star break. I didn't abandon you during the slow week on purpose. It just happened to work out this way. I thought of that this week. I was like, oh, are Tyler and Renee thinking that I went away on All-Star week on purpose? The slow week again? No, I didn't.
We've got no games till Friday. We've got nothing to really talk about.
But you got a steady schedule, and you got some great. And I saw you have some great guest hosts coming in next week too.
Us again this time for a full week in like I guess you're taking a break. You're like the guys, the ones that aren't maybe going down to Arlington. They're going on a trip or taking some time off, and basically that's you too.
Yeah, I got to go. The doctor prescribed cold Miller Lights by the pool and beach all week, and I'll be 100% by next Saturday.
Okay, Ranger. If the doctor says that, then you got to go with it. I guess.
Yeah. So
how can I?
Yeah. We'll get back into Whit Merrifield if you're just tuning in, perhaps, or whatever. But Renee, it was just kind of one of those nights. Ranger came down to 2 bad innings. They couldn't take advantage of the early walks by that weirdo-looking pitcher that started the game. I forget his name off the top of my head. Like Bryce's rocket, he hit 108 on the screws right at a first baseman. They hit into 3 double plays. Like, it was just one of those terrible nights where you couldn't get anything to go your way. And those nights you just go, all right, this is one of probably – 6 or 7 games this year where like bad luck's just going to be against us, and you got to hope the good luck's with you, 25 to 30 times. And it appears it is with the Phillies.
Yeah. Hogan Harris, by the way.
Hogan Harris. That's right.
It is interesting because they did do a good job of getting some walks early on against Hogan. And I wonder if it goes by, I wonder if anybody ever called him Hulk Hogan. It's like Hogan's like a weird first name. But anyways, for Hogan, he was another one that was very sweaty. That's something that I've noticed these last couple of series.
I mean, this weather sucks. This weather sucks.
It's very hot outside, and it's one of those, today's even worse. It's like rainy and muggy, and so like your clothes are like clammy and sticky and ugh. So Hogan was sweating. He was, and the stash was stashing. Yeah, I was I wanted them to get after him a little bit more. I wanted to see him frustrated a little bit more, but yeah, it was just one of those weird games. You could tell from early on, the Phillies did at least score first. As always, they've been continuing that part, and they even got after Hogan Harris. I tweeted it out earlier. I'd be interested to know how many games this season the Phillies have forced opponents to have a chat with the starting pitcher, where you see the manager coming out 2 innings in, sometimes in the first inning, to talk to their starting pitcher, and even getting the bullpen warming up pretty quickly. The Phillies actually did that again today, but it just was weird because offensively, the production was not there. It was still the bottom of the order. It was, Rafael Marchand, Weston Wilson, Brandon Marsh, Christian Pache that got them on the scoreboard.
And a funky Christian Pache at that too. Like, like that was a weird one.
Edmundo Sosa, like it's just this, we've seen a lot of production from the bottom of the lineup, which has been great. But today was a day like I kept feeling like early on they were going to break through. And then once we got to like the 5th inning, I was like, nah, this game's a wrap.
Renee Chakers in the chat wants to know, do you think the Sixers are going to win the championship this year? Make sure you're following along with our Sixers channel, because Derek, Devon, and Kyle are killing it out in Vegas. Are the Sixers going to do it, Renee? No?
I hate to be a Debbie Downer.
Wow. I mean,
what do you think?
I think if Joel Embiid is actually healthy for once, you have a real chance. But like, he's been healthy 1 in 7 years, basically. So logical brain says no.
The math ain't mathing.
Fan hopeful optimism brain says just be healthy. Maybe. Aren't the odds like in our favor that I'll actually be healthy?
No.
Mm.
Honestly, the next team that's really primed to win a championship in Philly, it's the Phillies, guys.
It is the Phillies, yeah.
The Sixers, because of Joel Embiid's nonstop injuries every season, right around playoff time, I don't have faith in them. And look, Paul George, great addition. They brought in a lot of pieces. You bring back Kyle Lowry. They're bringing in they're re-signing guys. They're bringing in some other guys. Great. Eric Gordon, Andre Drummond, all these pieces. I hate to say it. I think they're going to be better.
Because 729 says the Olympics are going to be the downfall.
Well, that's the other thing. Like you see him in the Olympics right now playing. You see him like gearing up for the Olympics playing. And I'm like, every time he plays, he should be more in shape coming into this season, but it's Joel Embiid. It's going to be the opposite.
Well, I didn't like seeing him
hit a
in the
wall
knee
like
brace.
Ranger.
Yeah, I didn't like seeing him play in the knee brace already.
No.
That's not the best feeling in the world.
He's in a knee brace already, and most guys would come back a little bit fitter from an Olympics summer, but I think Joel's unfortunately going to come back worn.
I hope not.
I'm sorry.
Bad thoughts.
I'm sorry.
Let's get it back to the Phillies. Let's get it back to the Phillies. I don't want to think about bad.
All right, let's go back to the positive because the Phillies absolutely do have the makeup of a team that should win it all this season. If we're talking about a Philly team winning a championship, it's the Phillies winning the World Series.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the weekend pitching matchups for Saturday and Sunday. Going to be interesting with what they do here on Sunday, but tomorrow a really cool story with Tyler Phillips. I think it was Alex Coffey put it out the other day, an Instagram from him and his dad in the upper level of the vet, 700 level, wearing their Phillies gear at a game, and just kind of said like he's so humbled and grateful and all this cool stuff that he gets to go pitch in Philadelphia at Citizens Bank Park. So Tyler Phillips against Mitch Spence tomorrow. Mitch Spence, 5-5 on the year, 4.29 ERA, 66 strikeouts versus Tyler Phillips, who came in last start with 7 strikeouts, kind of dazzled, kicked Michael Mercado out of the rotation a little bit there and took the job. So the vibes are going to be really high tomorrow. I think the bats will come alive on behalf of Tyler Phillips because this is a cool locker room, and they pick one another up. So I think they're going to not let the Phillips family down tomorrow because they're all going to be in attendance.
Yeah, listen, I know it's because 729's bringing up the fog machine from the clubhouse last night. This team finds their ways to just inject some excitement and adrenaline and all the little things. I think tomorrow for Tyler Phillips, it's going to be a great story. It's going to be probably a good turnout since he is from Bishop Eustace and from the area. His family will definitely be there. I think the Phillies need this. I think it's right on time. And as we've notoriously seen this season, knock on wood, we've seen some really good debuts from players. And we've seen some really good moments from players when they come in and are called up. So I think for Tyler Phillips now getting the start, we saw him as a reliever. Now you get to be a starting pitcher. And I'm excited for him. It's great to see. I know they talked about on the broadcast the number of local talent that you see it playing at the major league level. It is great to see just how well we're able to churn out some baseball talent because now that means when you have games like tomorrow, you've got family and friends and teammates and coaches that are, right in your backyard that have watched you grow up and now get to watch you excel on the mound. So I think Tyler Phillips hopefully will be steady. It's also a good opportunity. You're going up against the A's, although I thought it was a good opportunity for Ranger going up against the A's. It's a good opportunity going up against the A's, who average under 5 runs per game, minus tonight apparently, to hopefully have a good solid showing. That's all you need from him. I would love to see the offense wake up a little bit more. It is supposed to be another hot one tomorrow. The excessive heat continues, but it is going to start to no, it's just going to be hot tomorrow. But anyways,
that maybe the ball's going to fly. That means the ball's going to fly out. Ball go boom. The ball's
going to fly. Offense, I think, to me, it's more about the offense has to get going. I would love to see top of the lineup someone give us something. It's been a lot on the bottom of the lineup, which is
Harper's hitting the ball hard. He's going to go boom tomorrow. You heard it here first. There's my going away to vacation prediction for you. Maybe put a couple shekels down on that. maybe get a little 3-1 action.
Yeah, he's
And then on
due.
Sunday,
Kyle
Renee.
Schwarber had his stretch. We've seen Trey's incredible stretch. Nick was close. Between Bryce, Alec, and Bryson, it's their time.
Yeah. And then on Sunday, Joey Estes goes for the A's, 3-4 on the year, 5.53 ERA, 44 strikeouts, and TBD for the Phillies. I didn't get a chance to listen to Rob Thompson's presser here. I would imagine it's Michael Mercado, just guessing. That might come out tomorrow. And by starting, I mean 2 to 3 innings type of thing, like not even stretch them to a 4. So it'll most likely be a bullpen game unless they make a roster move of some sort that I don't know about. It's going to be a weird one on Sunday, but it's the last game. You're probably going to go into the All-Star break as a 62 or 63 win team, and life is pretty good. So Sunday's just like, all right, just get out of here healthy, and hopefully you can take a series after Tyler Phillips leads to a victory on Saturday.
Well, it's like when you have that last day, and you get this as someone that's about to go on vacation. Today, this is your day. When you have that last day before you get away for vacation, you're just there. Like mentally, you're like, I'm already on vacation. I'm ready to be done. I think for the Phillies, that Sunday is going to be that. Like, we need to be off for a few days until Friday's game. Let's just get out. Let's just get out of this. Get in, get out, get another great showing in front of our fans, and piecemeal it together, because I do imagine, as you bring up like a Michael Mercado, I think we will see just a bunch of a bullpen game, honestly.
Yeah.
So should be a very exciting weekend. If you're the Tyler Phillips family, it's super exciting.
Super. I mean, that's going to be awesome for them. Yeah, but overall, I'm sure you guys will do this next week. First half MVPs, most improved, least improved, all that stuff. It's a good time to like sit back and enjoy the first half of the season and what was. And Renee, as we come to like the halfway point, this is one of the more fun Philly seasons ever. Enjoying it with the family here, with you guys at work every day, with the people in the chat and the Discord on Twitter. It's just fun. There's really nothing to be too concerned with. So it's been a great first half. Really looking forward to a fun second half. 18 days away from the trade deadline, so a chance to improve the club still. It's just been a tremendous first half of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the success of the team. We've seen Christopher Sanchez, Aaron Nola, and Ranger Suarez all pitch complete game shutouts. We've seen this team be able to have a winning a .639 record against teams over 500. So they're 23-13, which is the best winning percentage against teams with a winning record. They're off to an incredible 60-plus win start already in mid-July. Yeah. So I feel like, I know I keep telling people this on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. I know it's still Twitter.
It's Twitter. I refuse to ever call it X.
I keep telling people on social media and in person, like, stop looking for reasons to be frustrated or mad or worried or nervous with the Phillies. I understand we all have PTSD. We all are waiting for the other shoe to fall off. But in reality, this start to the season has been phenomenal. And there's a lot of baseball left to play, but it leaves you very optimistic for what the second half can bring. So I'm excited for the break. 7 guys get to go, get honored, get a chance to have some fun. Everybody gets some downtime to also like revamp. Also coming back, you get JT coming back.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get a better Ranger. Looking on the other side of this break, there should be a lot of positives coming back from it. So
it'd be really cool if there was a Luis Robert, maybe.
Right? You get the new addition should be here.
I've lost all steam on that one, but it would be cool.
It would be great.
Yeah.
I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to be somebody. It's like we know they're bringing in somebody for the trade deadline, guys. It's happening.
Yeah, I think today's move.
Or just like okay, cool.
I think today's move told you there's going to be some serious roster moves here in the upcoming 2 weeks. But it is going to be great to get JT back after the break. Taiwan is going to rejoin the team. And he's going to give you some innings. And look, he's not going to pitch in the playoffs, so don't worry about it. Enjoy the ride. Just looking around the out-of-town scoreboard tonight, as we, teams are heading into All-Star Weekend. Renee, Yankees are up on the Orioles 4-1. Of note there, the Astros are beating the Rangers, and the Astros, who once were thought of to be sellers, are very much in a playoff hunt. And I don't know if they'll be buyers per se. But if you're an AL team and you somehow get a wild card Astros in the first round, you're not too pumped about that. I would almost guarantee that.
Yeah. The one to actually keep an eye on.
And then the Braves and Padres just started.
Yeah, the one to keep an eye on are the annoying Mets because they've been on a little tear themselves lately. They are now
the Grimace vibes.
Yeah, they're over 500. They've won their 6 of their last 10.
Grimace is a powerful beast. You can't.
Yeah, and I think they're right
there
on the cusp of a playoff spot if the season were to end today. If I don't have the whole picture in front of me, but they're knocking on the door, and they're a team that's been lurking for sure. They actually are in a position where they're only 4 games behind the Braves. Who knows? Could they catch
them? The Mets right now, Renee, have the last wild card spot. They are tied with the San Diego Padres, but they must have the tiebreaker. The NL3 wild card teams as of right now are the Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, and the New York Mets, with the Padres right on their heels.
Wow.
So yeah, Grimace has turned the Mets season around. And you see who's the second baseman they just brought in? Diaz, is it? Hold on. Jose Iglesias. Excuse me. I was brain farting there. When he stopped playing baseball for like a year or two, he became a pop star. So the Mets in the vibe department have Grimace, and then Jose Iglesias has now joined them, doing really well, and the team has surrounded around his pop single that he released when he was a musician, and it's become like the unofficial team song. So they got like those weird, like funky baseball things going for them.
Here's something breaking news: benches have cleared between the Yankees and Orioles. We got a fight brewing.
Love it.
See if it's actually a good fight or if it's just some fake stuff. Oh, they're pushing. I see some pointing.
Oh no punches yet.
I don't see a punch though. I don't see
it looks like Kerstead got hit in the helmet by Clay Holmes, the Yankees reliever.
Ooh. I love
the I'm watching it right now. It's pretty good shoving. This is pretty animated. Oh, I think I saw one punch.
Did you?
Oh, I think I saw another punch. All right.
All I have is the video clip.
Oh, the bullpens are full sprints in.
The bullpens coming out are always the funniest.
Sprint. I love a bullpen sprint.
I know. They're like, here, wait, I'm joining into the fight. Here I come. By the time they get there, it's usually over.
Yankees, Orioles. That's good stuff right there. Benches cleared.
Oh, yeah, baseball, man. I see no punches on my clip. That's lame.
Kerstead caught it right in the back of the head. I hope he's all right. He dropped. I didn't see him still down on the ground when the fray was happening. But I can't imagine Clay Holmes threw at his head intentionally. That would be wild.
I don't think anybody's doing that.
You would hope not. You could kill somebody.
Yeah,
there's a difference between one in the ribs and hitting the guy in the head.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's intentionally like, oh, I'm gonna throw this 98-mile-per-hour ball at your head. But I do understand them defending him.
So let's go Padres. Let's go Padres. Orioles, Yankees. Let's hope they beat each other up. Barbara Carroll wants to know why Maxey took the max. Because he's smart, and why Jalen Brunson didn't. Not good to hear. Jalen Brunson, you're wild, man. Leaving like 113.
That's a big gamble for the Knicks.
He's leaving $113 million on the table. He could have waited till next year and cashed in even bigger.
That's not.
I like Jalen
Brunson. I tweeted it out myself.
It's not. You're not supposed to get in other people's pockets. But damn, man. What are you doing?
That's a super selfless move of you.
Yeah.
I think the annoying thing is if you're a LeBron James taking a pay cut, that's one thing. If you are a Patrick Mahomes taking a pay cut, that's one thing. Jalen Brunson, what are you doing?
What are you doing, man?
Super selfless. Great first move right there. But if the Knicks do not at least make it, I was trying to say
Sixers are better than the Knicks.
It's the Knicks.
They're not
when did we have them winning it all?
Sixers are better than the Knicks.
Yeah, the Sixers are, but this is not. Oh no!
All right, Renee.
Bag.
We're talking basketball. It's time to call this quits.
I
know. To Barbara and Lisa and K Red, and everybody else in here tonight. Yo Cuz 729 and everybody that participated, Shakers and Joe. We appreciate all of you spending some time with us on this Friday night. I am off next week, a little family vacation. Renee and John and a bevy of wonderful guest hosts are going to be in next week. I saw the lineup you sent. It looks really great, really fun, something different for you. I'm sure it'll be a blast. To Andrew behind the scenes, thank you for your help. Thank you for checking out the PHLY Phillies podcast. Go Phils. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.
We all silly like the